Stephen, thank you so much. You are here for the 30-year book signing of Blood In, Blood Out. Please tell us about that film and the impact it had on your life.
Well, the impact is basically, it was our life. Every Chicano growing up in East LA, in Southern California, we lived that life. And when it came out, it showed us the good, the bad, and the ugly of the life in there. But more than most, it also gave us hope. Somebody like the Metal, El Castillo, trying to do the right thing, it gave us direction.
So who's your favorite character of the movie?
Well, of course, the Metal, El Castillo, not just because of his acting in the movie, but because of his community activism outside. He's an author. He's just an all-around great guy, always helping somebody.
Becky, please tell us what you were doing when this film came out, Blood In, Blood Out.
Oh, I was 14 years old and I was just running around my hood with my girls, and so when it came out, it was like, hey now, a little something to relate to, you know. But I mean, it was just about representing the Chicano, what was going on and stuff. So hey, we could relate at the time. Little traviesa already in the streets, little Becky Lou, pero ya no.
Absolute classic. Becky, tell us, who is your favorite character of Blood In, Blood Out?
I love me some Miklo.
Okay. And so, Frank Montes, tell us a little bit about you and what you're excited about at this 30-year anniversary of Blood In, Blood Out.
Well, this movie is a cult classic for many of us, and I'm excited to celebrate the 30-year anniversary of a film that really shed the light on a lot of the challenges and struggles of our Latino community and real life, you know, issues that we face day in and day out. But I'm really excited to come and support my dear friend Enrique Castillo. Amazing man, great community activist, and educated on many different things in life. And, just an amazing human being, and be part of this amazing day.
Beautiful. Frank, please tell us the influence this film had on you when you first watched it 30 years ago today, and the impact it has carried through in your life today.
What it did, and this is weird, a lot of people won't get it, but it showed me leadership. Metal's part in this was bringing the people together and making sure that they stayed safe and controlled their anger, controlled their emotions. And that's a lesson that we all can take to heart. But that's really what it taught me.
All right, right here. Hello. Oh, look at who I am here with today. Please tell us your name and your role in Blood In, Blood Out.
My name's Pete Vasquez. I played Chivo in La Onda, in La Torcida, when they cut to the prison scenes, La Onda.
What was your time like filming at St. Quentin?
It was pretty cool. I mean, we're doing when I read the script, I said, I knew this is something special. With the inspirational, passionate writing of Jimmy Santiago Baca and the artistic expression and incredible filmmaking prowess of Taylor Hackford, with the collaboration of with the rest of us, is it any wonder that this film has touched the hearts of so many people? It's amazing. I didn't know it was going to be like this.
It's a cult classic. Please,
Absolutely.
for those who are new to Blood In, Blood Out, what are the characteristics, the family, the bonds, the loyalty? What is the theme that really binds everyone together?
Yeah, actually, family. It's about family, la raza, la familia. We're all born under different circumstances. Not everybody has been blessed to have a mother and father, responsible mother. My mom was always working. I never met my pops. I was 3 when they divorced, so she was always working. I was, when I come home from school, nobody's at the canton, at home. So, I go kick it with the homies, come by, let's kick it and everything. You get caught up in a lot of negative activities. But as you grow older, hopefully you get wiser,
What advice do you have for those that you see still out on the street, living the life that we saw portrayed on Blood In, Blood Out?
Yeah, actually, it's time to, you got to recognize and realize that this isn't only destroying your own, especially when it comes to addiction. because addiction goes right along with gangbang. You know, thanks to God, I'm clean and sober 34 years. I'm with RVB agencies. We don't only do meet and greets, but I'm doing presentations on addiction and recovery, because addiction goes way beyond the chemical. You know, there's a phrase that when I used to facilitate groups with domestic violent offenders and addicts and alcoholics. It's a phrase I would say: when emotional and spiritual negativity are not dealt with responsibly, they will manifest in self-destructive behavior one way or another. And when I say emotional negativity, I'm talking about frustration, aggravation, depression, remorse, guilt, fear, inadequacies, and vulnerabilities. All these feelings that, as youngsters, whatever circumstances, whatever abuses you're experiencing, create feelings that you don't like to feel as an adult. So we end up, when I say will manifest in self-destructive behaviors one way or another: violence, drugs, gangs. Some people use food. There's eating disorders, gambling disorders. Emotional and spiritual negativity, when not dealt with responsibly, will manifest in self-destructive behavior one way or another. So yeah, I give presentations on addiction and recoveries. RVB agency, they're representing me and they send me out. But I appreciate this. Appreciate you people coming out. Es un placer estar aquí con todo el público, you know. So from the Cora, con muchísimas gracias, you know, del Cora.
Del corazón, sí, gracias, Pete. Thank you so much for your words of encouragement and your perspective 30 years later.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you. God bless.
Right, God bless. Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us, Miss Marion. Thank you. So the themes that we can all resonate with in this movie, Blood In, Blood Out, for those that maybe are not familiar, even though it's been 30 years, what are those common themes we can all resonate with?
Well, friendship, familial experience when people grow up together and they understand a culture, they understand a life, they come from very similar background, but they take different routes. So it is about family, but not necessarily the family that we're familiar with, mother, father, children, but a family of a group of young men who share experiences, but then find very different lives for each other. It's a very powerful film about growing up.
Did you know that this film was going to make the impact it made when it was being filmed 30 years ago?
No, of course not. We had no idea. I think it's a miracle. It just means that I think my husband was so ahead of his time when he made the movie. He grew up in a Latino culture. That was very much his culture growing up as a Californian, and has always been a huge supporter of that community, and always felt that community wasn't served sufficiently in terms of film product. He was a producer on La Bamba, so I think Blood In, Blood Out was very much coming from his heart.
Lovely. And so what are you most excited about today with this book signing and celebrating 30 years of this great film?
Well, it is a beautiful book, I have to say, and I really recommend anyone who loves the movie to get hold of a copy. It's an incredible, beautifully produced book. And I think, this is what's wonderful, to see the film has this life, continuing life. People will be coming to see this movie today who are maybe not even born when the movie was made. So, but it's still very much alive for them. And that's the most wonderful, wonderful thing.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
We're here to celebrate 30 years. Tell us what you were all about in the movie, your role, and what it means to you today.
Well, we played brothers, part of a family clique, the Vatos Locos, and I played a character named Cruz Candelaria, who was kind of the anchor of the three main characters.
He was the shining star of the neighborhood, a rising, very talented artist, and the one with the brightest future. But the story, I think the story still resonates now after 30 years, not only because it's a true American gangster picture. I mean, it's a true genre picture, but the thing that I think has resonated throughout the decades is the level of cultural and familial authenticity that is portrayed, which comes from the writing from Jimmy. It comes from the performances of a true artist like this, Jesse Borrego, the most generous artist I've ever worked with. He took me under wing and said, look, I know that the Chicano culture is not your culture, but I'm going to teach you everything you need to know, and he did. And it was that kind of giving spirit that really was shared throughout the leadership of Taylor Hackford. And all the performances within the film that really made it auspicious. It really is a special film, and it resonates now, I would say, stronger than it did upon release, now 30 plus years later.
Totally. And you see the fans that have been here, multidimensional, generational, people that are in office, people that are lawyers, professionals, but also the raza, right? The families that have shared it over the years as their tesoro, their treasure. So, you know, they look at us, and as actors, we've done many things in our career since then, but it's always wonderful to come back and to see that carnalismo that we put into this film actually still survives, and that people appreciate it, right? And they're giving that back to us. So hopefully this book with these images and this art will continue to share that with them, you know.
There's a strong level of nostalgia, not only in this event, but in the opportunity to revisit the film later this evening. Most of us haven't seen it for 20 plus years or more, and to see it celebrated with this kind of energy, this kind of passion out here. I mean, we got a sold out house of 1,200 people. It tells us that there's still life within the film, and our hope as artists and for the beauty of the film that it will live on some kind of streaming platform, which it doesn't. To this day, it doesn't. It's handed down.
Too real, baby.
VHS tape and DV disc down from generation to generation, and now it's time for it to be out there once and for all.
I've seen VHS copies tonight.
So one of your co-stars mentioned maybe Blood In, Blood Out too. What say you?
It's always been an internet rumor. It's kind of like that, you know, that Sasquatch, right? That Bigfoot-side Loch Ness monster.
Well, I would have to say this. It would have to be the animated version where we could do the voices. That's the only way as performers we could be able.
It'll be Viejos Locos forever.
Yeah, Viejos Locos forever.
You heard it here first. Viejos Locos forever.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carnetta.
So I'm here with the beautiful and radiant Miklo's mother. Thank you. Please tell us your name, your role, and what Blood In, Blood Out means to you 30 years later.
Well, my name is Jenny Gago, and I was Lupe, Miklo's mom, mamacita. So mamata loca. And 30 years later, being able to be back here, it just brings tears to my eyes, because Blood In, Blood Out shows us how we have to wake up from the nightmare that is caused by social justice, not knowing, and then being controlled by our unconscious reactions. And the fact that it's touching so many hearts, it really is awesome. It's awesome. It means a lot to me.
I love it. So when we talk about social justice and values, talk about those values that really shined in this movie.
For me, the value that I got from it more than anything is because blood in, blood out means that we are a human family. We are a human family. And what truly, truly is the fact that we're human beings. We're not human doers. And because we're human beings, our passions, our emotions, our feelings truly is what guides us in a truthful manner, where our knowledge and what's been put into our brains limits us from being able to be truthful to ourselves. So that's what Blood In, Blood Out touched in my heart, because it truly frees all of us to connect on a very spiritual, emotional level.
Perfect. And so 30 years later, we're here to celebrate the book signing. What are you most excited about today?
Well, reconnecting with my bros and Taylor Hackford, Jimmy. I mean, it truly is a blessing. And I'm excited about the fact that there's a book now that's going to go ahead and touch more hearts. And just the fact that this has touched hearts for 30 years is truly a blessing.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, and God bless. We're here celebrating 30 years of Blood In, Blood Out with the book signing and a launch screening celebrating a beautiful festival. Please share with us what Blood In, Blood Out means to you.
Well, it's the film that I'm most recognized for. It's been an incredible event. I know the movie has gained popularity over the years. It's all over the world now. I get requests for autographs or photographs from fans in Germany, Romania, South Africa, Australia, you name it.
So when we look at Blood In, Blood Out, you know, some of the critical values of family, loyalty, respect, how does that translate to all communities as you reflect on, you know, the cinematic masterpiece that you created 30 years ago?
Well, the central theme is family and symbolized by the tree at the end, El Pino. I remember a scene where the mother is confronting her family about what is most important, and that's her family, and that's what she's worried about. And I remember speaking with Taylor about that scene, and I asked him that if there was any line that we should pump up in terms of volume, it would be her line that says, "I'm your family, and we should be fighting for each other, not for some street corner that nobody knows who belongs to." So that, I think, is the thing that resonates with most communities is the image of the family.
Perfect. So hearing and speaking to a lot of the actors that were in the movie 30 years ago, this remarkable film begs the question, Blood In, Blood Out, Part 2?
Yeah, that seems to be the prevailing question. But if you recall, my character was assassinated, so unless they do a flashbacks or maybe I had a twin brother, you never know. But as far as a sequel, well, that's up to the powers that be, Disney, Taylor, Jimmy.
Perfect. So what are you most excited about this evening as a culmination of this celebration is happening all around us?
Well, it's seeing the fans and how excited they are about the movie, how loyal they are. I had mentioned to Taylor that it's basically become like a rite of passage in some families because it just goes on generation after generation.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Pleasure.
Well, my role was Juanito. I was the little kid that unfortunately overdosed, right? But I'm back. But yeah, I was the kid that was influenced by all these older guys, Crucito, Paco, Miklo, and fortunately I was influenced a little too much.
All right, so looking back on it 30 years ago, being a child actor in this remarkable film, how do you see that today and what you've been through these past 30 years and what it is you learned from this film?
Well, life is crazy. Life will take a twist, and you could take the good or you could take the bad with it, but it was a good experience. Being an actor was a good experience, and I believe it molded me to the person that I am today. So it was great working with Taylor, working with all these great guys. It was good.
I want to thank Maria Mogolski, who and the rest of the Luckman staff for really pulling this together in an amazing way. I also need to thank Will Baker, who did and my college communication specialist, Iris Chu. Props to her. And one more person I want to thank, who didn't think I'd be doing this, but is Christina herself, who right in the trenches with everybody else did an amazing, like really
We also want to thank Disney for providing this screening option for us, this wonderful digital screening that you're about to see. And of course, we want to thank the entire Blood In, Blood Out team, the cast, the crew, everybody who worked to make this event so very special. And there's one person particularly that we really, really, really want to thank, and that is, I mean, they've all been wonderful, but Taylor Hackford. Taylor insisted on staying this week here in East LA with our community. That was his decision. We are so grateful to him for bringing the film here home to us. And for those of you who've had the pleasure of working with Taylor, you know what a pro he is and what a super, super, super nice person. It's been a masterclass in seeing how directors act and behave. And I just want to say that it's been a pleasure working with him. With no further ado, Taylor.
So, Stephen, Christina, I met the new president tonight of Cal State LA and an old friend, Kane Furstenberg, who's is a trustee here. This is such a beautiful place. But, you know, when the publisher, and he did a great job, J.C. Cable, said, you know, we're going to do a book party, and we'll go out to the Hammer in Westwood, or we'll go to the Autry. And I said, no, this is the film about Islos. Yeah. We have to be there. There's somebody who heard me, and her name is Belle Hernandez. She's the wife. She's an incredible woman. She put together the 25-year reunion we did at the Plaza de Cultura down in Alvear Street. And Belle said, I think I know some people at Cal State LA. Boom, I met Christina. She was receptive from the moment that I talked to her. And for all the people, and I know they've mentioned Maria and Will, and there's a lot of people who went into this. We're so lucky to have this opportunity to be here. So that's number one. Number two, you know, this has had a long history, but you know why we're here? Because of you. That's right. You are the ones who made this happen. Because this film, when it was made, didn't get a release. We didn't see this in the movie theaters. You know, I have to thank the people who at Disney who greenlit this movie and made it happen. A Cubano named Ricardo Mestres, who ran Hollywood Pictures, and Jeff Katzenberg, his boss, who supported us, and Dick Cook. Are you here? Yeah. Dick Cook, who was head of distribution, and Marty Katz, who was head of production. You know, these are all people that at Disney were fans of this, and then later. There was a man who ran Disney called Alan Horn that I'd worked with before, and he didn't know about this movie. He had never heard that Disney had this movie. I said, we're making a book. We need to get into your archives to look at pictures. There's 4 authors of this book. It's not mine. 4 authors. There's Jimmy Baca, Simi Santiago Baca, who is the screenwriter of one of America's great poets. Jimmy, now you're going to hear him after we finish here, because you're going to hear something really special. It's going to be called A Poetry Reading by a Great Poet. Jimmy wrote original poems to all of the images of this book. So when you get it, you're going to look at it, you're going to hear a true Chicano voice. I produced La Bamba. La Bamba is Luis Valdez directed. He wrote it. Dan Valdez is one of my closest friends ever. He and I, dreamed of making La Bamba, and then 15 years later, when we were both, he was too old to play Richie, we ended up by making the film. But the point is that Luis writes the intro here, and you'll hear how this film came about. All of these things are blessed. If it wasn't for Jimmy's words, if it wasn't the fact that the warden of San Quentin was a Chicano. By the way, Danny Vasquez is here with his wife and family. Danny, stand up, will you? Thank you. If it wasn't for these kind of bits of luck and fortune, but the thing that we wanted out of this, and the thing I wanted, was I wanted to be authentic. I want you and I wanted my primary audience was the Latin audience in this country. We never got in the theater, so they never got to see it. But guess what? You found it. And we're here tonight because of you. So this is pretty wonderful. And Rick, my co-authors, Merrick Morton, who took the photographs in here, he's brilliant. And my other author, who unfortunately is not alive today, we lost him a couple of years ago, Adan Hernandez from San Antonio. When you see the paintings in this, well, they're on the screen, they're Cruz's paintings. But Adan had the burning soul of a true Chicano artist. And it just breaks my heart that he can't be here because he would really love this. And of course, Jimmy wrote all original poems for all these images. So this is not just a trip down memory lane, it's our ability to talk about this and what became of it, and we want to talk about that, because you know you've been on the internet. But there is somebody here tonight that I want to call out, no other local politicians, but there is a congressman from Tejas. He's Joaquin Castro, and he has nominated this film several times to be in the National Register of the Library of Congress because he thinks it's
I want to say thank you very much for inviting me to the Cal State event where Jimmy Baca, the great writer of Blood and Blood Out, Merrick Morton, the wonderful photographer, and Taylor Hackford, the director who made it all happen. And I'm very sorry that I cannot make the event. I'm filming outside the country, but I tell you this, that film means the world to me. And I know, Raza, you love it, and I love you. And I want to thank you so many years of support and love. And once again, I'm sorry I can't make it. But remember, Pato Locos.
Well, let's get them all out. Jesse Borrego. Valente Rodriguez. So I'm looking at Valente tonight. He's flaco. He's gordo. Look at him. He's beautiful. Chewy. Raymond Cruz. That's Chulito, you know. I never call him Ray. Okay, now, there are these guys who are called Tres Puntos. And they're here too. Now, I'm going to keep these guys separate, you know. It's true, it's good. Ray Oriel, El Spider. You know, Spider. He never wants to go where he's supposed to. And Eddie Perez Joker. Hey, Joker! Okay, so now, remember I said it's also my family. Now, unfortunately, you know, two people are not with us anymore, they're gone. But, you know, Carmine, you know, who played Dolores, you know, the mother, and Mano, the father, you know, they're not here anymore. But also the mother of Miklo, the sister of Dolores, is here, Jenny Gago. And I think that's, as I said, I looked at this film and Jimmy looked at this film. It's about familia, all right? It's about familia, and it's about, you know, in the chapter here is alegría y dolor. And, you know, anyone thinks that life is just sweet and nice and it's all going to be happy knows better. And you saw in this family what happened, and that was important because it's part of the story of life. Now there's another family, and the Vatos Locos and the Tres Puntos, they had their own family. And the two come into conflict, right? Because you got your regular family who's saying, don't go out there and get. Well, he came. Good. All right. Before, when we got out here, I was like going, where's Noah? You know, when you are directing and you have all these guys, they're all professional actors, they're all fantastic, and then you've got a 10-year-old. What am I going to do? So, little Juanito, Noah Badisco.
He saved the best for last. So.
I'm sorry, you know, the thing is, yeah. So what you're doing here is with Noah, look at him. I mean, you know, little Juanito is like the heart of this film, and of course the Lord of this film. But his sister is also in the film, and Judith Produce goes out in the audience. So you can't believe it. You know, you look at Noah, you look at Juanito, and there he is. Unbelievable. So I by the way, he wasn't in the room, and we sent up somebody out, and I didn't know he was back there, so I apologize, Noah and Judith. So now, there's the other family, inside the walls of La Pinta. La Onda. And isn't it, I just want to say, you know, you got a poet who is able to like create words that is poetry. And you know this story is kind of based on La M. So La M is a very famous thing, and everybody knows it, and we can't use it. We're not going to use it because Jimmy's been in the joint. He knows you don't make deals. You just don't. You're stupid if you do. But I said, what are we going to call the group? He says, we're going to call it La Onda, the wave you can't stop. And this tells you why I was blessed with this partner, this poet, who knew the dialogue that all these actors spoke has the authenticity of the street, except it's turned up. It isn't just flat stuff, it's poetic. But you know what? Chicano culture is poetic. So anyway, La Onda, I want to start by introducing El Mero Mero. That's right. Enrique Castillo. So we'll tell little stories later about how this all came about. You know what? If you've got a bunch of actors, talented actors, tough guys that know what they're doing, you just can't say, this is the leader. You know my direction to Kiki? You got to be the leader. You got to take charge of these vatos. And he did. So you see it on screen. Unfortunately, he couldn't stay. He was there, he signed a lot of your books, but Evanimo, Danny Trejo is not here, but I want you to give him a round of applause. You know, Danny, you know, looked at this film as his beginnings. God, look what he's done. Amazing, huh? There's a guy called Magic Mike. Victor Rivers. There's a fellow named Jeff Rivas, who I knew he was in La Bamba. And very smart, very sweet, nice guy. He, the casting directors put him up for Carlos in the moment. He said, no, never happened. I know Jeff Rivas, he's a great guy, he's a terrific actor, but no, Carlos is a stone killer. So Jeff finds me somehow. Taylor, I heard you won't let me come in for Carlos. I said, Jeff, honestly, I know you, I love you, but this isn't you. He said, Taylor, I'm an actor. Give me a chance to prove I can do it. Don't just... So he came in and he was fabulous. Jeff Rivas. Now, Jimmy Baca, the next actor is authenticity personified. There was a character named Chivo in the Onda Council. And Peter Vasquez came in. The moment I met him, I cast him because he was the real deal. Peter Vasquez. He also knows how to dress, huh? Now, there was two characters that Jimmy Baca wrote, which were really fascinating characters, because they're funny. You laugh at them, but they're also stone cold killers. And that's an interesting role to play, hard role to play, because you're going to go for laughs, and so, he's funny. And then you realize that those two characters, one of them, who was not here, but was great, played Big Al, and his name was Lanny Flaherty. And I want to call out some actors who are not here. Delroy Lindo, who played great actor. You've seen him; he's been nominated. And on the Aryan side, Tom Tolles, who played Red Ryder, fabulous. Unfortunately, Tom Tolles is not with us anymore, which is too bad. And don't worry, I don't. I'm making him pull his heels back there. Another actor who is become very famous, and I knew him as a writer. He came in and he said, I want to act because I need to pay my rent. Billy Bob Thornton plays, And I watched Billy Bob Thornton come in. He's a very slight guy. He gets in there, we took him up to prison. He gained 55 pounds for his role. I said, when I saw that, I went, you're an actor. There it is. Because he was going to be next to these real gabatos. So I'm saving for last. Jeff said, you screwed up. Now I just leave him out there because I wanted to stew. But a character who is probably known in this movie, and he's certainly known on the internet for everything. And he's a Shakespearean actor. I bring him in and I say, you're going to play Popeye Acevedo. And Popeye is a pimp. He's funny, but he's look out. And he said, that's me. So, Carlos Carrasco. Jeff goes, I forgot Carlos. No. He knows he's either the first guy out or the last guy. He gets all he goes and stuff. So now, what we're going to do, and I know those of you who came to see the film are waiting, oh God, when's this movie over? You're never going to have this happen again. So it's not. Now it's going to we're going to hear from the Vatos, all right? And I've asked each one of them just to say a statement, something that they experience on this film different than anything they've ever done. All right? We'll start with Paco.
So, check it out. There's a scene on the hilltop where the Vatos Locos have a fight with the Tres Puntos. And most people don't know that a lot of the Vatos Locos were the real homies from the Gary Loma gang in Hazard Park. and really sweet kids at the end of the day. But on a Friday, we shot that sequence over 2 or 3 days. On a Friday, after we wrapped, Taylor said, "You homies who really run with the gang, stay out of trouble this weekend because we got to finish up this whole sequence on Monday." Chucky, you guys were, Chucky, get up! Chucky was a real cat. He got shot in the butt that weekend and came in on Monday like this. Just another day of movie making.
And he's Pastor Chucky now, so he cleaned up his life. Big shout out to Pastor Chucky. But, okay, so when we finished the first part of the film, my Vato Locos left, right? He had to go get ready. He was living in Santa Monica, so he went back to his familia there. Damien went back to Hollywood. I said, Taylor, Crucito never leaves the barrio. Let me be here, that way I won't be late for work in the morning and I can stay in character. Well, on my days off, I got to live in City Terrace, Garrity Loma, with the Vasquez familia who was taking care of me. All the beautiful Vasquez family is now my relatives because I lived with them like a brother. Mama Vasquez would cook me my Mexican-American dishes. I would hang out with the family. And then when I had to work, I was always there. But one of the things I noticed on my days off is exactly his beautiful line. You don't know what being Chicano and Raza is all about. People out there, families, working, surviving, being familia. That's what being Raza and Chicano was all about. And I always remember that line of his because it struck me because I got to actually see it during the filming of this. And so thank you all to that. Thank you to the Vasquez familia, Big George, Snake, who took care of us, Andy, and all the relatives that took care of us. Some of them, rest in peace, are gone. But all of this will live on for them. Thank you to East LA.
Yes, Pino, órale. I'm going to talk about that. How did you know? Are you a brain reader? So what you guys saw, what you guys see is 4 people in a GTO driving crazy. What you don't see is Taylor Hackford's in the car, the sound guy's in the car, the camera's in the car, the cameraman's in the car, and I think it was August. So it's like 106 degrees out, screaming up and down Indiana, Tormale, right? And then the little blood pipe busts out of Damien's gut, and Taylor keeps squeezing it, and there's blood. For 2 days, we did that pinche scene. You better like it.
Linda and I play friends in the movie, and we would hang out. And the crew and people would pass by and say, "Hey, Frankie Chewy, you guys want some pot?"
This was before it was legal también.
Yeah. We look at each other and we go, "Okay." And give us pot. Other people walk by and go, "Frankie Chewy, you guys want some pot?" We're like, "Órale." Pot. And then I turned to Frankie and I said, "Why is everybody giving us pot?" And then Frankie said, "I don't know, but don't fuck it up."
Yepa, yepa,
These vatos locos must be on medication to be here. 30-year celebration. 30 years! Now! Seriously though, I'm gonna keep it as real as Spider. Hollywood didn't want us. They still don't. But you, mi gente, embraced us and kept us alive for 30 years.
I'm going back up to the hill again. Every time you saw that beer can getting thrown by Spider, all you ask how his ribs are, he hit me a few times. So my ribs were hurting more than his.
Okay, officially, I just want you to know I'm a vata loca. And I just want to share with you, as you can see, that this is a blood in, blood out family.
That's right.
And that was the experience that I had. When I read the script, I cried at the end because I said, you know what, it's about time that we start uncovering the truth, social justice, and also of our unconscious taught programmed reactions, as opposed to being true to ourselves, blood in and blood out.
You know, earlier when Taylor was mentioning El Mero Mero, you know, I was going to prematurely come out on stage, you know? But I refrained myself, so, you know, I give all credit to my mother, because she's the one that encouraged me to, for this movie and this role, so, it set me on my path, on my career, my acting, so, I think all these guys right here was a good experience.
You always like wonder, say, well, look at the actress in that. We're going to be here for all night. That was fantastic, wasn't it? Because okay, it's time for La Onda. When Taylor mentioned that it was a work in prison, it definitely is. You kind of have to put it in the back of your mind and just do your work. But one of the more sobering moments was when we're doing the kitchen scene, and there's Big L, 90 Flaherty, saying all these racist things, and there's real Chicano cons behind me. And then we take a break, and two of them come over to me and they whisper, we are going to take them out, right?
And I have to say that for the longest time after this film came out, I still felt that I wasn't real. I was that guy imitating Rex Harrison back in Panama. But you guys, your culture, your familia, have given me such a warm and welcoming embrace that it drove all of those thoughts and beliefs from my mind, and I stand here today proud of what I have contributed to this, proud of what I have contributed to the Chicano culture, and absolutely thankful and grateful to all of you.
Gentlemen and ladies, thank you. So tonight, I think that the important thing about this is there's original work in this book, and there was original work in that script. And if it has authenticity, and it has eloquence, it's because of Jimmy Santiago Baca, you know, my mano.
That was great. Listen, I'm only going to be up here for 4 hours, so you get comfortable, man. Come on. Do a line. Let's get loose. Come on. That wasn't no. Guys jumping over seats and shit, right? I want some of that, brother. First one I'm going to read, guys. Look, you got to pay homage to a Don. The painter. You got to do it. Then you got to, you know, I did some poems for him, and then you gotta pay homage to the actors, because I saw there. I was on the set at night. I saw what happened, and I saw magic. The minute that the person leaves his own body and becomes a persona. And it was magic I couldn't explain except from the Yaqui Hopi thing, where you're a soul shifter. So that's, you know, I saw this stuff. So I decided, when Taylor asked me to write some poems, I was more than happy to oblige because these actors, all of them, had a special sort of formula that amounted to magic. If that's what you want to, lack of a better word. So this was called Pachuco con jumper cables. Yeah. This is a poem. I'm just going to run really quick. I'm not going to waste your time. Pachuco con jumper cables. Jumper cables in the trunk or tangled on a post nail in the garage. Coiled to incite the dead awake. You missed the night bus, I said. The ride didn't show. No te preocupes, compa, I got you, carnal. Raise the hood, clamp the battery cables on. Copper fangs ignite. And sparks fly con coraje. And the motor purrs ready to bite. Moves life forward, vato, from can't to will. Ese. Plunge the carburetor rod, accelerate con ganas, hombre. And hearing the powerful 327 roar gives me the feeling that I'm taking a victory lap at the Olympics, hombre. Look up at the night sky as I drive to my carnalito Shante to pick him up, and I nod to the applause of the moon and the stars.